Making money is one thing, yeah, but keeping it, that is another skill entirely. And this is where many people get surprised because they work so hard, they sacrificed, they stayed disciplined, they earned. Then if even when they have even started investing, but years later when they pause and really look at their lives, yeah, they cannot clearly see the wealth they thought they were building. Not because they didn't try, not because they didn't earn enough, not because they didn't protect what they were building, but simply because they didn't have the skill needed in place. And this conversation is very important because nobody teaches us this early. We are taught how to make a lot of money, to work hard for that money. We are encouraged to keep on earning more. We have even been pushed to invest, but very few people teach us how to keep it. And that is where real wealth is either sustained or quietly lost.
Hi Jane.
Hi.
So this is another day and I'm so excited.
Yes.
So on the first question.
Yes.
So let's start here.
Mhm.
Why are so many people earning
Yeah.
and investing
Mhm.
but still losing wealth? I repeat this question again.
Mm.
Why are so many people earning and investing
Mhm.
but still losing wealth?
Wow.
Yeah.
This is now where I will talk about it in reality, yeah, and a bit of honesty. It's happening to people, and when it's called, think about it, yeah. Today, most people keep on earning, like you have mentioned. They have more opportunities, more side hustles, more businesses, more access to investment platform. People are joining circles, they're buying land, more opening of MMFs. Even we have gone a notch higher and started exploring global investment. So from the outside, it looks like a lot of progress, and for sure, we are doing a lot of progress in one way or another. But let me go a bit deeper, yeah? When you actually sit down and especially with most people and look at their finances, you start noticing something. There is movement, yes, but there is always no good direction. There is effort, yes, but there is always no good structure. But there is always good intention, but there are a bit of gaps somewhere because wealth is not built by activity. Wealth can be very you can be very busy financially but still not building wealth. Wealth is built by being intentional, having a good structure, and having a good alignment. Many people are doing the right things but in isolation, like one investment here, another idea there, a circle here, a piece of land somewhere, but nothing is connected, nothing is coordinated, and nothing is protected. And that is where wealth starts having a bit of leakages, or rather, now that's where wealth starts leaking. Not in one moment, not in one big mistake, but those small consistent gaps, yeah, that nobody is paying attention to. That is now where we start seeing that wealth that we are building very hard starts now having those starts leaking basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what are the biggest things causing people to lose wealth without realizing it? Yeah.
So some of the things that I will see why people maybe start losing their wealth, yeah, it's not because, and sometimes let me now state it, yeah,
Okay.
because wealth loss is really dramatic, and we have seen over time. There's nowhere that you will wake up and you had a lot of wealth and it disappears all of a sudden. It just doesn't always look like a big crisis. It doesn't always look like a big failure that is happening. Wealth loss starts is actually gradual. It's quiet and it's repeated, and that cycle now we see it in one, lifestyle inflation. As income increases, lifestyle increases even faster. And this is one of the most common patterns, yeah. You get a good job, you upgrade your house, you change your car, your responsibilities slightly increases, your lifestyle improves, and a lot of that is okay. Honestly, you have worked for it, yeah? But here is where the problem begins. When your lifestyle grows faster than your structure, that comes now to having a big problem, because now every shilling that you earn has already been allocated to consumption. So there is no room left behind. There is no room left for maybe investing intentionally. There's no room left for protection. There's no room left for growth. And over time, you realize that something starts now, you start becoming uncomfortable. Yes, you're earning more than you have ever done before, but you're not building anything that can sustain you in the long term. And that is why I always say, wealth is built in the gap between you when you're earning and the gap between you when you're keeping it. Yeah, the gap does not exist. Rather, if the gap does not exist, then wealth cannot grow. And so that gap is very important. And the second thing is lack of protection. And when I talk about protection, many people have that fear. No one wants to talk about protection because many people tend to believe like I have to keep on building and building, but they're not protecting what they are building. They have a lot of investments, they have a lot of assets, but they don't have protection. There's no insurance to protect all your assets or even you yourself, because you have people who are depending on you. You have no emergency fund set aside. That buffer is very important. Anything comes along, wipes or everything that you're building. There's no risk planning, be it maybe risk management for your business. There's no risk planning, and life has a way of testing that. I'm telling you, one hospital bill, one business loss, one family emergency, one unexpected event, and suddenly money that took years to build is used up in just a few months. And that is not because they made a bad decision, but it's because they were not prepared for disruptions in life. So when you talk about protection, it's not about expecting the worst. It's about at least knowing that life is happening and some realities might pop in. So we have to protect first before we start building, or rather we have to protect what we are building. Then the third thing is poor diversification. And when I talk about diversification, I did a small video and explained what diversification is. I think it's on our YouTube shorts or on our Instagram page at Jen Gitiche or at Japesh Financial Solutions. And when I talk about the diversification, what do I mean? Yeah, sometimes many people feel safe because they own something here, they own land, they have a business, they have an investment going on, but everything might be in just one place. And that is now where some areas, or rather this is the area where most people start struggling, because now if something happens, at one loss happening, everything struggles. Yeah, imagine all your money is in one business, and that one business is what maybe caters for that investment that you have. That one business is what maybe is paying for the land that you took and is under, maybe you took a loan, and that is the business that is sustaining it. So just anything happening to that one business, yeah, all of a sudden you need liquidity that is not there. All of a sudden you have to cater for a loan that money is not coming from somewhere else apart from that business. So lack of diversification can cause a lot of trouble when it comes to wealth. So because you have wealth on paper, yes you do, but you don't have flexibility in life. Diversification is not about complexity, it's about balance. At least have some money working for you somewhere. You have invested, yes, there's that one business, and there's something else that is growing somewhere, so that anything happening, you will not caught up in one big loss, or just everything that you've built for so many years just goes underneath. There is that diversification that is coming along. Then the other one is having no good succession plan, or rather having no succession planning. And this many people keep on avoiding, and it's very important. Yeah, if something happens to you today, will your family know what to do? And I'm talking this very emotionally, because as much as we look at it from the emotional side, we need to dig deeper on the financial side. If something happens to you and you're the breadwinner, will your family not know what exactly to do? Will they know where your money is? Will they know what you own? Will they know what you owe? Will they know who to contact? And will they know what decision to make? Yeah? Or everything will just stop with you. Because wealth that is not understood is rarely sustained. And I'll keep on insisting and ask yourself those questions that I've mentioned, because especially that, will people know what you owe? Sometimes you just seated there and you just brought up like some debts that we didn't know that existed. So as a breadwinner or anyone who has dependents, or rather someone who depends on you, those are some of the questions when you're doing succession planning you need to ask yourself. Then the other one is, I think we will do succession planning as a topic on its own, because it's a bit very emotional, but some of these things need to be mentioned. By the way, did you know, like, before I move on to the other one, so many people tend to put their, like, you write in those official documents, next of kin. But rarely do people know next of kin is not a beneficiary. So anything happening to you, you might think like, I just wrote their name as next of kin, but honestly, they will not get it unless you wrote them as the beneficiary. I will also do a short video and explain the difference between next of kin and a beneficiary. Yes. So the other one is no asset structure. And this will be my final one, because many people are building assets but not structuring them. There is no documentation, there is no clarity, there is no basically good defined ownership, there is no organization. So even though there is value that exists, it is not well protected. And when confusion enters, conflict will always follow. And when conflict follows, wealth will often get lost in the middle. So when I wanted to just bring it all together, we begin to see something clearly. And how do we do this? Wealth is not usually lost through one big mistake. It's lost through lack of structure and the missing gaps. And then the more you keep on building, the more structure you need. Yeah.
So the next question, Jean. So what exactly is wealth preservation? Because many people hear it, so to that term, but they do not fully understand what it means in real life. Let me repeat the question again for a clear understanding. So what exactly is wealth preservation? Because many people hear that term, but they do not fully understand what it means in real life.
Wow. Yeah. So what I will say wealth preservation is, actually it's a very important question, because wealth preservation sounds like a very big concept, but when you bring it all down together, it's actually very simple in a simple way. Wealth preservation is not about making more money. It's about keeping money that you already have. That is now a simple way to define it. It's just maintaining what you already have. It's about protecting your progress, because let's just be honest, many people are focused on building, but very few people are focused on protecting what you're building. And building without protecting is like pouring water into a container that has very two tiny small holes. No matter how much you keep on pouring it, something will always keep on leaking out. So wealth preservation is about closing those small gaps. It's about making sure that what you're building is not easily lost. It's about stability, it's about sustainability, it's about thinking beyond today. Let me make it practical. Wealth preservation answers the questions like, if your income stopped today, what happened? If an emergency came tomorrow, what happens? If something happened to you, what happened next? or rather what happens next? And most people don't ask these questions early enough. Yeah, you find that they ask them when something has already gone wrong, when money has already been used up, and when pressure has already come up. Yeah, but preservation is protecting all that and not reactive. It's about saying, I am not just working hard, I am also protecting what I am working for. And also, that is a mindset shift. Yeah, because you move from just chasing money to managing money. You move from just earning money to at least sustaining that money. And when that shift happens, your financial life becomes calmer, it becomes more stable, it becomes more intentional, because then your money is not just growing, it's staying with you. And that is where now the real question of wealth preservation comes.
Okay.
And it shows, yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to the next question. So for someone listening right now and thinking, I've been focused on earning, but I haven't really thought about protecting.
Yeah.
Where do they start? What does that structure actually look like?
Wow.
Yeah.
So for someone wondering where to start, yeah, I actually love that question, because this is where we move forward with the understanding to action now. And like I always keep on insisting on, when we look at this, yeah, you don't have to do everything at once. You just need to start, but start in the right order. Because many people try to build everything at the same time. They want to invest, they want to grow, they want to expand, they want to protect. But protection has to have a good structure. They have built a very good stable foundation, but without a good protection foundation, everything becomes a bit fragile.
Okay.
And so this is now the action side of this. And this is where I would like you to start. One, you have to start with stability. Because stability is where everything starts. You cannot grow, you cannot protect without stability. And when I mean stability, what do I mean? Like having a good emergency fund, that buffer set aside. And I know people, I keep on insisting, almost all my videos I talk about emergency fund, because life is very unpredictable and emergencies will often always happen. And when they happen, you can have a very big financial setback. Yeah. So you find yourself doing something very common. You withdraw all your investments, you sell all your assets, you take loans, you disrupt your financial plan, and that is how, in one way or the other, wealth is lost. But when you have an emergency fund, yeah, even just a small one, and you give yourself it will give yourself basically a breathing space, and you give yourself time to think, time to decide, and time to protect your long-term plans. So the first thing that you need to factor in when you're starting, or rather when you're starting your wealth preservation journey, is stability. The second one is protect what you have. You already have been working and you already have built something. Yeah. So this is now where I'm insisting on protection. And again, this is something that people keep on avoiding, not because they don't understand, but because it feels very uncomfortable. And protection is not fear. It is if at all you have dependents, if you have people who rely on your income, and then your financially plan must have to include protection, health insurance, life insurance, asset protection, because one unexpected situation can undo years of effort. And the goal here is simple, not to build fast, but to build safely. Yeah. And the third one is diversity, rather diversify with intention. Yeah. Because with diversification, this is where most people tend to think, I'm already doing diversification in terms of I have invested, so I am fine. But the question is not just did you invest, the question is how is your money spread. Yeah. Is everything in one place, in one business, in one asset, in one idea? Because if everything is in one place, yeah, then you risk having also that, or rather if everything is in one place, yeah, you risk a lot and your wealth will not be protected in case of anything. And diversification is simply just bringing about the balance, having different investments in different vehicles, some for safety, some for growth, some for income. Not a lot of confusion, just a bit of balance. Yes. And the other fourth one, organize your financial life. This is the fourth one, yeah. If something, and it's something that people tend to overlook, yeah. Do you actually know what you have? Do you know your net worth in a clear way? And most people, I always ask this question, what is your net worth? And sometimes most people don't know, because most people don't know what they owe. You might, like, it can look a bit, I know I have to know what I owe, but most people actually, they have a glimpse idea, but in reality, do you know your net worth? Do you know where all your money is? Do you know what your investments look like and what they are and the return they are bringing in? Do you have all the documents that exist put up in a good place? Can you access them? Who has access to those documents and those items that we are talking about, and all your vehicles where you have invested? Is there anyone who can be able to access them? Because if something happens and everything in your head, like, I mean, if something happened and everything basically is in your head, yeah, then everything stops with you. And you can imagine how succession planning can be, and that creates a lot of stress for people you leave behind. And that is one way wealth is lost. Like, we know so many times, yeah, especially back, like, for sometimes our parents, yeah, they kept on buying lands here, there. We have those families, but I'm telling you, or rather, most of the children don't know where some of these lands are. They don't know where the titles are. So if anything happens to maybe their dad or their mother, it goes with them. And honestly, that land can never be recovered. So the big question is, can people access what you already have? Is there just that one person, so that we can keep on avoiding wealth lost? We have built this wealth so much, yeah, and keeping it needs to be part of it. Then the final one is review and adjust, because life keep on changing, income keep on changing, responsibilities keep on changing, goals keep on changing, so your financial structure must also keep on changing. When I say this, I don't mean like every day, not every week, but at least a bit of consistency. Have at least an annual meeting with yourself and with your family and the people who need to access what you have, and then update them on what has changed, what has improved, and how things are going, where documents are. Have that conversation with them. So if I can simplify everything, yeah, wealth preservation is not it's not about doing something complicated, yeah. It's about doing the simple things consistently and doing them the right way. Stability first, protection, then growth. And that order should always be like everyone's handbook. Yeah.
Okay. So to the next question, Jean.
Yes.
So what mindset shift do people need to make to move from just earning money to actually preserving wealth?
Wow. I think everything comes down to mindset, yeah?
Yeah.
Because at some point, wealth stops being about effort and it starts being about how we keep on thinking. Many people are still in what we call the earning mindset, yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. Basically, it's necessary in the beginning, but in the earning phase, yeah, we are so much focused on getting a good job, growing your income, trying out opportunities, these comes, this goes, building something from nothing. You're chasing growth, you're chasing progress, you are trying to move forward. But here is what many people don't realize, yeah, at some point that mindset must evolve from just earning and earning, because if you stay in the same earning mindset for too long, you keep on chasing more, and you keep on chasing more without protecting what you already have. And that is where now the shift happens. You have to move from chasing money and move towards managing money. So from expanding to structuring, from working hard to thinking long term, because wealth preservation requires actually a different kind of discipline. It requires a lot of patience, it requires a lot of restraint, it requires a lot of saying, just because I can afford this doesn't mean I should. And that is not always easy. It because as your income grows, like I mentioned before, so do your options, so do your desires, and so do your expectations. And this is now where you have to differentiate. Yes, I know I'm earning it, but I also know, like, I can be able to continue keeping it. And that requires a different kind of mindset. It requires for you to start asking different questions. And these are the questions, not just like, how do I make more? Not just like, you see the earning shift, how, like, to keep on saying how do I make more, but you now start asking yourself, how do I protect what I have? How do I structure for my finances? How do I ensure that money lasts in more generations than only my generation? How do I make sure that I am not starting over again in like 5 years or 10 years in case something happens to my maybe source of income? Maybe I lose a job, maybe my business is lost. And that is now where real wealth starts to becoming real. Because wealth is not proven, like, or rather, it's not proven when you earn, basically. It's proven when you keep it. We have so many people earning a huge amount of salary. We have someone who is not earning too much, but they're actually wealthier than this person who is earning a lot of money. And once that shift happens, your financial life becomes a bit calmer, it's become more intentional and secure. And this person who is earning lesser than this bigger one, when I talk about this being wealthier than this, it's because they protect and they have answered all the questions, those few questions that I have mentioned.
Okay, so that's powerful, Jane.
Yes.
Now let's go on level deeper. Go deeper.
Yes.
How does this connect to children and legacy?
Wow. I think it all comes down to children, because when we look at many people, it's not just about money, it's about the legacy that you leave. Because wealth is not just about you, it's about what continues after you. And this is something that many people don't think about earlier enough. They focus on building, they focus on earning, they focus on acquiring, but they don't always ask, what happens to my wealth after me? They even, more importantly, look at it in this way. Will the people I leave it, like, if at all I have wealth, if will the people that I leave that wealth with, what will they do with it? Because here is the truth. Wealth that is not understood is rarely sustained. And we see this very often. That is where there is a lot of wrangles when maybe parents are no more, like they are gone, resting in peace. I don't know how to put that one. But when now all those people who are managing wealth, they are no more there. Some now we start seeing a lot of confusion, a lot of wrangles. But as a parent, when you're building, you work very hard, you acquire assets, and you create something very valuable. But the next generation, they don't understand it. They don't know how it was built. They don't know how to manage it. They don't know how to preserve it. And slowly, what took years of hard work to build is just lost. Because, not because of bad intentions, no, but because of lack of preparation. And that is now where our children come in. Because if we don't teach them early, we leave them unprepared. Many children today are being supported financially. They are given money, their needs are met, their lives are very comfortable, but they are not being taught on how, like, to take care of wealth. They're not being shown how money works. They are not being shown how to manage it. They are not being shown how to grow it. They're not being shown how to protect it. And that creates a very dangerous gap. Because when money comes in into their hands later, yeah, when you leave them to like to manage your business or anything, they might have the mindset, they might not have the mindset to handle it, and that is now how the cycle breaks. Yeah. So the question is not just, am I building wealth? The question is, am I building wealth, or rather, am I building wealth and also building people who can sustain that well? Because legacy is not just about leaving assets, it's about leaving understanding. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is where intentional teaching comes in. Teaching children how to think about money, how to make decisions, how to plan, how to wait, and how to value what they already have. And that is not something that happens automatically. It must be guided, it must be structured, it must be repeated. And that is why I am so passionate about financial education for children, because if you start early, you just don't build wealth, you sustain it. Yeah. So, wealth preservation is not just about protecting money, it's about protecting your future and their future. And that future includes the people who come after you. And so, basically, what we have done as Japesh campus, we have programs for children. So from age 4 to 6 years, all the way to 18 years, and actually all the way to 25 years. Yeah, we have 5 levels that we train kids about money, about finances, investments, and we also do a bit of entrepreneurship. You can go to our website and check on those programs, and if you would like to enroll your child, we have both physical classes and online classes. You just comment kids master classes. See you then.